UFC Fight Night, Kansas City. Ian Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates has just come to a conclusion. I'm going to give my immediate reactions to all of the fights and the conclusions of all of the fights and just the overall outcomes and how I feel about the event. So, starting off with the first fight of the night, we had Joseline Edwards versus Chelsea Chandler. I picked Joseline Edwards to win. I was expecting like a 29-28 decision. Lo and behold, we got a round one knockout. I don't really know too much about either of these gals. I just know that I've seen pictures of Chelsea Chandler sprinting away from her opponents, so I just went with that. And that's all I have to say about that. So that I was starting off 1-0 with the first fight. Now, I didn't pick any outcomes for these two fights, Timothy Kwamba and the other female fight. But Timothy Kwamba wins his UFC fight with a round two flying knee KO. I don't know much about Timothy Kwamba or Roberto Romero. I don't have much to say about either of them. Same thing with the women's strawweight fight. However, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. I picked Cameron Simon to win. I think Cameron Simon is really good. Or at least I thought he's really good. I really don't think he's bad. I think he just keeps going up against people who are also really good, you know? So, Malcolm Malcolm Wellmaker wins this fight 2 minutes into round one with a disgusting right hook delivered straight to Cameron Simon's jaw, knocks him out. It's tough seeing Cameron Simon lose like this. He's a chill dude, you know. I don't want to see him lose, and it's just been really rough for Simon since the. I know he lost before the Peyton Talbot fight, but ever since he got schooled by Talbot, it's been rough trying to watch Simon fight. So Malcolm Wellmaker, he looks good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where Wellmaker will end up. He got a performance bonus for that knockout, I believe. Next up, so I'm 1-1. I got that pick wrong. Next up, we have Damon Blackshear versus. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Damon Blackshear won pretty clearly. I thought it's 30-27. I picked Damon Blackshear to win, so 2-1. Good pick by me. Nothing to say. Damon looked pretty good on the feet. I know he's a good grappler. Yeah, I'm excited to see where he ends up too. I mean, him and Wellmaker look pretty fucking great. I think Damon should get a ranked opponent next or something like that. He's been pretty active. I would like to see him fight someone ranked next. Now, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. I don't know much about either of these guys, and I should not have picked for this fight. But for some unknown fucking reason, I picked John Castaneda. Chris Gutierrez wins a pitter-patter, leg kick, tippy-tappy decision, as usual, from what I've been hearing. I got nothing to say. I didn't pick between Evan Elder and Gage Young. I believe Evan Elder was originally scheduled to fight somebody from Dana White's Contender Series who was arrested for some type of run-in with somebody who is not of age of consent. That's all I'm going to say about it. Evan Elder wins a decision. I left to go to a gas station like halfway through this fight with my buddies, so I don't have much to say about this fight. However, Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. I was so happy to see Matt Schnell win. I picked Matt Schnell. Oh, I'm 2-2 now. I'm 2-2 now in my picks. I picked Matt Schnell to win this fight, and I'm glad I did. I really wanted to see Matt Schnell win. I believe he just retired in his last fight and like the Apex, and then decided, fuck it, I'm just going to keep fighting. And he won, and I'm glad to see that Matt Schnell won, and he looked great. Wasn't super chinny, but then again, Jimmy Flick doesn't have a whole lot of power. But, Matt Schnell was grappling good, reversing good, taking submissions when he could get them. There was a lot of ghillie attempts in this fight. There was like 8 ghillie attempts between Matt Schnell and Jimmy Flick. So I end the prelims 3-2. Not bad. I don't have a lot of thoughts on the prelims. you know, it is what it is. Main card. First fight, Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. I picked Ikram Aliskerov. I picked him by knockout. I just didn't know which round it would happen in. Lo and behold, he gets a knockout in round 1. It's good to see Ikram back. I'm a huge fan of Robert Whittaker, so when Whittaker knocked out Ikram, I was pretty excited. But I also felt bad for Ikram because, like, he'd be stupid to pass up a shot against the ranked number 3 guy, you know? Obviously, he didn't have much of a shot going up against Whittaker, so he was bound to get decisioned at least. But I mean, a knockout was great. But yeah, I picked him to win this fight. You know, he won. I was very happy with it. So I'm now 4-2 on picks. Next up, Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. I picked Randy Brown to win. Randy Brown won via knockout, brutal fucking knockout in round 2. Similar to Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway, that last 10 seconds. I mean, he broke Nicholas Dalby's nose in round 1, and it was a pretty bad break, and then knocked him out cold in round 2. But Nicholas Dalby was giving Randy Brown some heat, man. He was putting Brown in some tricky positions. He was dishing. Nicholas Dalby was a marauder, man. He was a marauder. People forget, man. Nicholas Dalby's a fucking marauder, okay? But he was giving Randy Brown some heat, but Randy Brown was able to take it, you know, dished it right back, knocked out Nicholas Dalby cold. I mean, cold. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's crazy. Next up, so that's 5-2 on picks. Next up, we have Abus Magomedov versus Michel Pereira. I picked Abus Magomedov. Michel Pereira sucks. Abus Magomedov sucks. These guys have no gas tank. They fucking suck. This fight was boring. I was shooting pool like the whole time this fight was going on. Next up, we have Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Now, I have to say, I picked Giga Chikadze. Oh wait, I'm 6-2 going into this. 6-2 going into this this fight. I picked Giga Chikadze to win because Giga Chikadze had a very close fight with Arnold Allen. David Onama was supposed to knock out Giga Chikadze going into this fight. Like, oh, he's got heavy hands. He's got heavy hands. He's going to put him out in the pocket. You can't stand in the pocket with David Onama. First round is clearly David Onama's. Second round, Giga turns it up. He turns it up, and Giga gets round 2. Or maybe I'm getting those 2 rounds incorrectly. Either way, going into round 3, it's 1-1, right? Now I must say, I think it was Giga. Giga gets a clear round 1, and then David Onama gets a clear round 2. Now I must say, I thought Giga won round 3, just like biases aside. Onama kind of held Giga down. He was giving a couple of elbows, you know, holding dominant position, throwing a couple of elbows, but when the fight was on the feet for the first 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the third round, Giga was lighting up Onama, and I thought he was doing much more damage to Onama than Onama did to him on the ground. No real complaints. I mean, it is what it is. It's not a very high stakes fight. It's whatever, you know. So now I'm 6-3. Now, Anthony Smith versus Minyang Zhang. I picked Anthony Smith as a joke, and I paid for it in my overall picks percentage. Minyang Zhang goes out, knocks out TKOs Anthony Smith with elbows, makes him bleed all over the canvas. It was a lot of blood in the first round, so that's 19 wins, all by first round finish. Anthony Smith retires. I like Anthony Smith. You know, I feel like his more recent bouts in his career have been kind of casting a bit of a bad shadow on his actual career because, you know, as my friend keeps saying, he had aura back in the day, you know. But shout out Noah. All I'm going to say is that obviously Anthony Smith was not going to fucking, you know, beat Minyang Zhang. I just feel like whenever picks are too obvious, I just like to pick the other one for shits and giggles and whatever, you know. So now I'm 6-4. Ian Machado Garry beats Carlos Prates by 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46 decision. So that's unanimous decision. Carlos Prates fumbled a finish so badly in round 5. And I don't even want to talk about this fight. Carlos Prates really waited too hard. I mean, he just didn't turn it up for most of the fight. Around round 3, he started to turn it up a little bit, and that's when we got to see some better Prates moments. He puts Garry on skates so hard, and then Garry tries to shoot a takedown in round 5. Prates reverses it, ends up on top, delivers like 3 hammer fists, and the second hammer fist fucking stunned Garry so bad he was crawling on all fours to get away from Prates, and Prates just wouldn't throw hammer fists and lost because of it. He had the finish right there in his hands, and he didn't take it. I picked Prates to win. I ended up 6-5 on picks. However, I will say I was picking Garry to win up until this past week. Like I was ready to pick Garry, and then when the time came, like all last week, I was just like, I'm gonna pick Prates. So if I had stuck with my gut and picked Garry, if I didn't fuck around and just picked Min Yang Zhang, and if I just hadn't picked the Gutierrez Castaneda fight because I don't know anything about either of them, I would have ended up 8-2 on picks. Instead, I was fucking around and I ended up 6-5. I don't have a lot to say about the outcomes of this fight. You know, I was fine with either outcome. I think Ian Garry's fucking annoying. Oh, he took the boogeyman into deep waters. Oh, he almost got finished by the boogeyman in round 5. But my last fight, I almost finished the boogeyman in round 5. So I beat the boogeyman. I just think it's almost poetic that Ian Garry has been talking about his good moment against Shavkat after a fucking stinkfest for 5 rounds. He keeps talking about this one good moment he had in round 5 where he was on Shavkat's back. And then he talks about that fight as if he fucking won it. So does that mean Prates beat you? After a stinkfest where nothing happens and Carlos Prates has you ready to be fucking TKO'd. You're begging for the ref to call the fight. Does that mean Prates beat you? I'd like to see Garry stand on that. I'd like to see him stick by his fucking by his headspace in terms of what determines who wins a fight. If you're gonna say that you won that fight against Shavkat because of one good moment in round 5, then you lost this fight against Prates because of one good moment in round 5. That's all I gotta say about it. Oi, let the boogeyman fuck me wife. Oi, sat in the corner while the boogeyman fucked me wife. Ian Garry shocks the world, finally has sex with his wife for the first time, instead of letting somebody else do it. Beats Carlos Prates by decision. No one's surprised. He's like, I mean, he's vegan, you know, so like you see his fucking career is full of decision victories, and then you hear he's vegan, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. This guy's got no fucking power whatsoever, which is true. It's just like he's tippy-tappy, puts you in the clinch, gay little kick, like he's fighting like somebody at CKB, you know? Like, I'm going to throw these dumb little leg kicks that do nothing and pretend like I'm the GOAT or something like that. Like, it's going to be really annoying to hear Ian Garry call for a title shot for the next, 3 months. Oh, I deserve the title. Nothing sells a pay-per-view more than Ian Machado Garry versus Belal Muhammad. Shut the fuck up. Fight Sean Brady. Like, Sean Brady dominated the number 2 guy. Like, he dominated Leon Edwards and is the first guy to submit him. Sean Brady deserves it more than you. Sean Brady set the new record of control time in a fucking single round. He deserves it more than you. Joaquin Buckley at this point deserves it more than you. Shavkat deserves it more than you, and because he fucking beat you. You know? I'm sick of people calling for title shots that just don't deserve it. You know? And Ian Garry, because he fucking steps up. I mean, I will say, him stepping up on short notice to fight Shavkat, I respect it. Stepping up on short notice to fight Carlos Prates, who's we saw it in the 5th round. Like, he's no joke, you know? I will say I respect Ian Garry's, what am I trying to say here? It's fucking 2 a.m. right now. I'm like about to die. I'm so tired. I will respect his frequency that he fights at. You know, he's ready to fight, and he says if he gets the belt, he'll be an active champion, and I believe him. You know, cool. It's good to have active champions. It's good to have active fighters who are also talented. Ian Garry is a talented fighter. I'm not going to take away from his fighting talent. He's smart. He's a good fighter. He's got good technical striking, good technical grappling. Like, he's good. However, he's really fucking annoying. So I have to dislike him a little bit. I don't want to complain too much because it was a great card. Like, this was a great card. This stands out in a heaping pile of shit that the UFC has been putting out in terms of fight nights. But this was a great card. And I had a lot of fun watching it, regardless of Ian Garry winning. Oh, you beat the Boogeyman on short notice twice. You lost the first fight. Okay, let's stop with this bullshit. So, yeah, I mean, and Carlos Prates' gas tank held up despite the 2 packs a day smoking. To be fair, he didn't really throw a lot, but he went the full 5 rounds and didn't look too bad. Like, he had his best moment in the 5th round. So, this whole smoking is holding Carlos Prates back thing is kind of a myth. I wonder if the fighting nerds are going to cut him out of their media promotional stuff and say that they're still undefeated, 15-0, instead of Carlos Prates, 19-1. So maybe they'll just do Gene Silva, Caio, and Rufy and just say that they're still undefeated and cut Prates out like they did with Brazil, but who knows? Yeah, that's all I got to say. Great card. It was a lot of fun. I mean, even these decision fights, the only decision fight that was an actual real stinker was Michel Pereira and Abus Magomedov. Like, Giga Chikadze versus David Onama was a great fight. This was okay. I mean, the only thing that makes it really great was the fact that Prates almost fucking killed Ian Garry in the 5th round. I thought it was funny they had both Khalil Rountree and Jamal Hill in the crowd, but their fight got canceled originally for this. They were supposed to main event this, but they were both in the crowd, and they both seemed to look fine. And they're both scheduled to fight at UFC Baku. Why do we have 2 American dudes headlining a fucking Azerbaijan event, however you pronounce it? What? I know they have Rafael Fiziev fighting on that card now, so we have an actual fighter from there who's going to be fighting on that card, but I hope he co-mains it at least. I just thought it was funny that these guys were both at the card that they were supposed to be headlining, and then both of them, like, the fight got canceled and both of them showed up anyway just to watch. Thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, good card. That's all I got to say. The Cuck wins again, 16-1. He'll tell you he's 17-0. He's the best fighter in welterweight. Ask him yourself. I don't have much else to say. Hopefully they just make him fight like a fucking another contender at welterweight. There's so much going on at welterweight right now. They should be matchmaking Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley. I mean, I know Joaquin Buckley is fighting Kamaru Usman as the headliner at UFC Atlanta, but I gotta say they just gotta fucking matchmake the top guys because they can't all get title shots. You know, they can't all be calling for title shots. Only one of them deserves it. So yeah, I'm gonna probably post my picks for Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. I didn't post my picks on YouTube, but I will start posting my picks on YouTube come next week. Yeah, ended the card 6-5. Should have ended at 8-2. That's all I got to say. See you next week.